where you put all of these in a folder, and then I need a new layer. I'm just going to merge those down so that if you regret something, you can always go back and kind of pull a piece. But I'm just working this way because it's quicker. And generally, you won't be like really going, if you make small adjustments all over, you won't really be going back as much as you think you would. So I'm going to duplicate that, flip horizontal, and, like, just guess. How do you think that would be? Using the warp tool, it's not going to be perfect. We'll probably actually lose some of these. I also think that doing the, so I'm just going to call this retouch. We can use the liquify tool. So it's in the filter gallery, which I don't, oops, wrong one. Liquify, and if you want to see what's behind, it's important that you name the layer that's behind it. But you can essentially, you see there's like a finger pushing, you can come in and really specifically, and the same deal with the brackets, you can make the brush smaller. So the pressure is up here. If it's set up super high, this won't work well. So you definitely want that pressure to be kind of low. And this way you can kind of squash the pearls back into a pearly shape, hopefully. And this is also something where we might have to add noise to them a little bit because they're going to get really soft. But better than nothing, okay? So that looks okay. And actually it not being perfectly rounded seems to work for it. So we can erase some here with the eraser tool. I'm just moving the opacity up. If you are uncomfortable totally erasing it, you can always add a mask to it and then paint with black into the mask, and that will cut stuff out. Let me, put that back up to 100. And that way it's not actually gone. It's just, see, I accidentally went into the layer. It's just like hidden. So if you are anxious about removing too much, definitely do that. So I'm actually feeling like this neck is closer to the tone it should be, because after all, like her head should be casting a shadow. So I'm going to drop the opacity of, I'm painting into the mask right now really softly. And it looks also, again, a little off, so I'm going back to the warp tool just to move that one bead into position. Maybe there. So the issues being, lighting is totally different on this side than that side. So let's go and get our curves, clip it there, and then try to bring up some of this lighting, and we'll try, put that on luminosity, and then we'll paint into the mask a bit on this side so that it blends. So I have the opacity is pretty low. I'm inverting that because I feel like this is too much, and it's something where we might have to fix that with other tools. Still better than before. Go in here. I'm painting with black into the mask there to try to cover that edge. I'm going pretty fast, so you would probably be more careful and stuff, but I'm just trying to kind of get through it to show you the basic methodology. Definitely stuff like with this white speck in the pearl, you're going to want to get rid of that because it's like a dead giveaway that they are from the same piece. We're also going to add noise back in. Let's do it 2, and then blur it 0.5. And that's going to kind of like take it closer to the photo texture and not to something like weird and warped. You'll definitely notice like her neck looks super flat. I think a good way to deal with that would be like to softly add in some shadow adjustment layers, just a little bit of a curve. It's possible that this is where her collarbone is kind of hitting. And I think people are willing to overlook this kind of stuff somewhat in an old photo. But you probably want to add in just a little bit of transitional kind of shadow there. And so on with different areas, you can kind of like say this is too light, and you can kind of like blend that down a little bit. And this is also how people do contouring. You know, and so on and so on, and you'll just come in and kind of flatten these into that original retouched layer. I'm just going to merge these all again, so you know, you get an idea. I'm not super precious when I work, you've probably noticed. Maybe when you're starting out you need to be a little more, so I'm using the clone stamp right now, and I'm going to put it on dark and blending mode. You need to be a little more slow. But honestly, sometimes just taking a big piece and covering over something is the best way, as opposed to like painstakingly trying to do it by hand with the clone stamps and things like that. Generally, you just stick to that, you know, using clone stamps around the edges and things where that healing brushes won't work. But yeah, that's the general idea of fixing this image. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to try to clone some stuff out. And you could always kind of take, like I noticed these pearls blur out, these ones blur out. That's a dead giveaway that we're going to want to actually come in and then take these sharper pearls and put them all the way to the edge of her neck, because this side is more in focus than the other one. And you want to get rid of that red spot, but it'll help with stuff like that. Get out of there. Maybe just a small piece. And then you can also, you know, I'm going to clone on a color, get off that red spot. And what else is up? So it's too dark underneath. Let's come over here, do a curves adjustment, try to like lift the black point a little bit, and then I'm going to paint brush tool with black and just kind of softly fix that edge a little bit. I think that looks actually much better, because then it really doesn't have the same shadow as the other side. So then your eye isn't looking at it and saying, oh, that's from here, even though there is a little bit of a shape and things like that that you'll fix. So this one is tricky and could definitely go farther on it. I think she needs more contouring, or maybe even just darkness in the chest area. Too bright and too flat, so it's drawing the eye, and you want your eye to go to her face, but I feel like this video has gotten too long, so I'm just going to finish with that. Maybe doing a circle of darkness. That's better. Yeah, so That is an example of a much more difficult retouch job. Okay.